What's good, everybody? It's Big Game James back in these streets, back in these work streets after these snowstorms. We back at it here at the job. You know how we do. Make sure you check out that Burgers and Blitzes we popped off yesterday with me and my dog Mike White. Great show. You know how we do. We only keep it real over there. We don't talk about no fake stuff, none of the fugazi, none of the fluff, all real. Go check it out. Great show. We talked a little bit about it yesterday, but I want to expand upon it myself today since I got a little bit of time. I want to talk about the impending 2025 free agents for the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, we know the Cowboys don't attack free agency. They always wait till third day. They're waiting for, end of cuts and maybe an injured player, older. They're not trying to spend a lot of money. They're not going to be we already know. So I'm not going to explain that anymore. We already know how the Joneses operate, and I don't want to start getting mad on my video. So I'm going to keep talking about that. But we already know they don't go hard at free agency. They're going to get the lower level guys. They'll get effective guys. We'll see. So without further ado, let me get this in and get this out, get it out the way. Free agents. Let's start at the top of the list. Well, let's just talk about the expiring contracts of 3 players. Zach Martin. We saw Zach Martin. I mean, what can you say about Zach Martin? Hall of Famer, first ballot, period. I ain't got to go into all that long dissertation about Zach Martin. He came in, 2014, first-round draft pick, dog day one. And, it sucked to see how he ended last year. I don't know if he retires. I think he should, in my opinion. I think he should just retire right in the sunset. I don't see you getting a championship in Dallas, Zach. I'm sorry, I don't. So my thing is just go ahead and retire, chill with the family. I don't know what you're going to do after this, but you're a Cowboy for life. You probably might be in the Ring of Honor. Let's keep it real. You might be in the Ring of Honor. You're going to the Hall of Fame, one of the best that's ever done it, period, bar none. Beast, monster. But me and Mike Fisher did a show, and we talked about this, though. Before the season even started, we talked about 2 players in particular that have expiring contracts that was going to be a reset, was probably going to happen. That Martin was going to be gone, DeMarcus Lawrence was going to be gone, and they were going to start. It's a soft reset. We had talked about that in April of this year. Check that video out. You see it for yourself. It really was the Nostradamus of this season. I promise you, it was the Nostradamus of the season. We told you everything you need to know ahead of time before the season, and it really did happen. Mike Fisher, Big Game James, check it out. It was like 5-6 months ago. It's real. Anyway, Zach Martin, I think he should just retire. I don't think he should come back. You was on the downside already. I just want to see you go through that, and let me just see you where you were at with greatness, right? So that's the first one. I think Zach Martin should retire. DeMarcus Lawrence. Now, if y'all know me, and D-Law go back and forth. When D-Law first got drafted, we need a war daddy. We need a pass rusher. We need somebody. I was geeked up when they got DeMarcus Lawrence. First year, the broke the foot, came back, got the 2 big sacks in the playoffs against the Lions, Matt Stafford. The next year had the broken foot, came out with no sacks. The last 8 games of the year hit 8 of them. And then, had the back injury. And for real, he only had 9 sacks in 3 years before that career year. And I thought he was being come and bust guy. He came in and went crazy on his contract year, 14.5 sacks that year, I believe. And then the next year he got 10.5 sacks. And all I'm saying is this about D-Law. I remember when D-Law, before he got those 14.5 sacks, I remember watching him in training camp and him saying, I'm a 10-sack guy, period, bar none. I'm a 10-sack guy. That's what he said. So I ain't going to lie, I held him to the fire. This was before he got his 14.5 sacks in 2017 and got paid. He said he was a 10-sack guy. So I held him to that fire. And he hadn't did it since that contract year. Because when he got that 14, I ain't gonna lie. When Stephen Jones and them said it, they said, it ain't like you some Khalil Mack or that, and you ain't. You ain't no Khalil Mack. You great in that run game, though. You a dog in that run game, but you ain't no Khalil Mack. And he said, we need to see it again. And I thought that was very right for them to be able to do that time. You ain't never did it before, so let's see you do it again. He did it again. He got paid. There it is. But you're not a 10 sack guy. You never was. You got that money. I ain't saying even you got complacent in it. But I will say this about D Law. I know D Law is a hard worker. I know he plays tough. I know he had the injury bug. He had lost his way maybe his first 3 years, but he stayed the course. One of the best run defenders I've seen in Cowboys in a long, long time. Play multiple positions for you. Strong, pressure guy. You know, what can you say? But once again, if you brought D-Law back, I would not be mad. But I feel like now he's progress stopper. I feel like D-Law's progress stopper, and it's just time to move on. I mean, the team, did they? I'm not minimizing him, but the defense could have used him, but the defense wasn't terrible without him. And he wasn't the difference on that defense. Michael Parsons was. They put it as D-Law back in the day, but it's not. Hasn't been. Micah's the one that makes that defense go. So with all that being said, I'm ready to move on from D-Law. Y'all can call me a hater or whatever you want, but he'll be 34 years old. You got these young guys, Marshawn Nealon, Sam Williams. They got Michael Parsons. I'm down with signing another player again. You definitely draft. I'm good, but you can never stop with veteran help. And if it don't cost that much, it ain't gonna hurt. But I'm ready to turn the chapter. Just me. Brandon Cooks, I'm good. I was not hyped about Brandon Cooks when he came in, but I was excited, because Brandon Cooks was a 1,000-yard receiver with multiple guys, different people. And I just feel like, you know what? It ain't like you were terrible with Dallas, but there's no need for you no more. Dallas needs explosive. You were supposed to be that speed guy, the guy to stretch the defense, all that. And it just never materialized. So you don't need another contract from Dallas. So I'm cool. Bye, Brandon Cooks. Now let's go with these unrestricted free agents. We're going to try to mull through this because I'm already in 7 minutes. I don't want to keep y'all all day. But make sure you check the video out. Trey Lance, unrestricted free agent. We talked about it yesterday. Yes, I want Trey Lance back. I understand the Cooper Rush thing, but when we talked about, the same way Kellen Moore became a QB coach, I think the same thing should happen to Cooper Rush. He's 30 years old. I mean, what more are you going to do in the league? You're a career backup. That's it. If that's what you want to be, cool. But I see Cowboys move you in that front, that coaching role and QB coach. When me and Mike talked about it, Mike suggested it. I'm flowing with it. So that's how I feel about Cooper Rush. And he's an unrestricted free agent. I'm cool. I'm cool on Cooper Rush, and it's not mad at him, but I'm good on him. I want to see Trey Lance now. So, that's a quick break. So, yes, Trey Lance, I'm all about. I was excited watching him that last game. I think Mike McCarthy and them dropped the ball. Whoever did it. Cooper Rush shouldn't have been playing after Dak went down. We knew what Cooper Rush does. I get it. You want to go to playoffs, but you want to go to playoffs with Cooper Rush? You weren't going to do anything with him. You understand that? So, if you had a Trey Lance playing the whole time, I'm not saying he would have been a world beater, but he would have been a lot more exciting. He added way more than Cooper Rush ever did, and I think he would have got better. And if you wouldn't have won them games, you would have had a higher draft pick. You would have at least got him some good reps going forward for the team. Maybe, you would have knew what you had as a second quarterback possibly. And as I was saying with Trey Lance, he's a dual threat. He's still only 24 years old, hasn't played a lot of football. Just think if you would have let him play all those games, how much better he could have been. And I feel like he gives you a better chance. If you were to happen, let's say if you make the playoffs, I feel like he gives you a better chance to win in the game than a Cooper Rush. So Cooper Rush need to be out the equation, in my opinion. And you need to you traded the 4th-round pick. Cooper Rush need to go. You don't need to pay him that money no more. Go on the staff, do something else, buy Cooper Rush. Trey Lance need to be your guy. We talked about a 3-year deal. So anyway, sorry, busy as hell in here. I got to pause, go back. It is what it is. But anyway, buy Cooper Rush, keep Trey Lance. Y'all know what it is. Eric Kendricks. Eric Kendricks had a Hey, he did a good year. I think he had over 100 tackles. I don't know if he was a difference maker, but I felt like he even killed the defense. So for me, with Demarion Overshown probably going to be out most of all of 2025, Maris Leofow, dog. You still need some linebackers in there. Probably going to have to draft one, but you still need linebackers, and he brings a great veteran presence. And if Mike Zimmer comes back, I say you bring back Kendricks too on a short one or another 1 year deal, 2 year deal. I think you can get 2 good years out of him. I bring him back. I like him. 1 2 year deal. Kendricks is cool. Brian Anger, punter. Anger's been good for last 2 3 years. Averaging. I don't check the punting stats, but he's around 40 something. He's been good for a good time here in Dallas, and I don't know how much punters are making now, but he should be cost effective. He should be cost friendly. If he is, sign him. It's you never really talk about special teams until special teams goes bad, right? And you don't never really have to talk about the punting. So as long as you ain't never talk about the punting, then you probably need to bring back the punter. I'm cool with bringing back Brian Anger as well. Jordan Lewis. I mean, this is a no-brainer. I say he's the Atlantic Scandrick of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I ain't disrespecting him. Some people jumped in Twitter and said, don't be disrespecting him like that. I'm talking about the contracts, dog. Orlando Scandrick had like 3 damn contracts with Dallas, and that's why I said. So, me, personally, I ain't disrespecting him when I called him the Orlando Scandrick of the Dallas Cowboys, because Scandrick got 3 contracts. Scandrick was scrappy. Yes, Scandrick wasn't. He got the penalties, yes. But Scandrick had an attitude, and we all talked about it when he was there, how he had an attitude. He was young, he was small like Jordan Lewis, scrappy attitude, all that. I think Jordan Lewis has a better attitude than Scandrick. You feel me? He's more of a leader than Orlando Scandrick was. But as far as the deals, the size, the scrappiness, they match up to me. I feel like Jordan Lewis is a better leader than him. And I feel like Jordan Lewis really stepped up his leadership in that locker room. And if you're talking about people, you need locker room vets, you sign him on his ability, the way he plays, but you sign him because he's a veteran presence in that locker room. And he ain't old, like about 30. So you got to bring Jordan Lewis back. 3-year deal, let him retire with Dallas. Hell, bye. You know what I'm saying? But Jordan Lewis deserves it. He been a dog. I met him a few times. Really cool dude. I like Jordan. Linville Joseph, 34, 35. Joseph didn't do bad. Like when he first came in, they got pushed around a little bit, but I think once he settled into the defense, and he's a Mike Zimmer guy. Once again, if Mike Zimmer is coming back, and he had Kendricks underneath him, and he had Linville Joseph underneath him, I say you bring those guys back because they just flow with him and they know his mindset. So you definitely need to get another defensive tackle in the draft and free agency. But if Joseph, who ain't going to cost no money, give him a 1-year deal. You know what I'm saying? But you go out there and get you a defensive tackle. I'm cool with you don't even need to re-sign Linville Joseph. So let me just say that. You don't need to re-sign him. I'm not pushing to re-sign him. But I know how the Cowboys are, and they may try to squeeze another year out of him. So that's why I'm saying it could happen because he didn't play terrible with Dallas, and he has that familiarity with Zimmer. I'm cool with moving on from Linville Joseph because I just think he's too old and he's past his prime now. But I know how the Cowboys are, and they probably would keep him. Cooper Rush, I told you about. C.J. Goodwin, I mean, why not? He done made the roster for the last 10 years on special teams. He has that role, and he plays it great. Keep him. Trent Sieg, I think he's the long snapper. We didn't have long snapper issues, did we, this year? Keep him. Chuma Edoga. Because he's depth. And Chuma ain't terrible, but it's hard to have backups in the NFL, right? It's hard, especially on the offensive line. You got to have a lot of offensive linemen. Within reason of a contract, for depth purposes, I say you keep the eye open for him. I keep the door open for him. That's what I'm going to say with him. I ain't really about signing him, but you keep the door open with injuries, things of that nature. He's familiar with Dallas. Last couple of years he's been with Dallas. He ain't going to cost a lot of money. That's why I would say keep that door open for him. Um, Osa Ogadazua, he gone. In my opinion, he gone. That's a player that if you're talking about we want to uh, draft, you know, build, growth them, you got to keep him. And Osa came in at the same time along with Chauncey Golston and Michael Parsons. He came at the same time with him. And he's been a dog. He ain't been great, but you got to understand, he's been playing out of position too. He's undersized playing that deep. So as I was saying before, Osa hasn't been great, but he's been pretty good. He's been pretty damn good. And he's a building block for your future. Y'all talk about y'all draft, develop, and sign. This is a guy you should have drafted and developed and signed. But to me, he didn't outprice himself. You should have signed him at the beginning of the year. You could have got him at a lower amount. Now the price is going to be too high for you. Dallas don't get into bidding wars, and I don't see them getting in a bidding war with Osa because it's going to cost a lot of money. Because he's going to be a high commodity. Some good teams are going to want him, and they're going to throw money at him. And Dallas don't do that, so I just see Osa being gone. And we talked about franchise tagging. The tag for him is like 20-something million, 22 million. They ain't franchising him for no 22 million. They're not doing that. So I just see Osa being gone. This is another time they dropped the ball and should have signed early. Like Tyler Smith, get him out the way. So I see Osa being gone. Rico Dowdle, bring him back. He got a 1,000-yard season. I mean, it was impressive for the fact that he's not been healthy. He's been on the roster for how many years? And he finally got his chance to be the starter, the bell cow, the guy. And Rico did well. Rico is a limited running back to me. Rico should absolutely not stop you from drafting another running back, a top running back. You got a 2-back system that you can roll with Rico now and another elite back. But Rico is a straight line, downhill runner, no wiggle, can catch the ball at the backfield, can definitely block, does a lot of things for you. So if you see me going off and on, it's just because I'm pausing because I got customers here. But Rico Dowdle, you need to pair him with another back, but I definitely say you can sign him for a good, another 2 or 3 year deal. He's not going to be your bell cow, but you can definitely pair him with an explosive running back. If you get the Ashton Genty kid, I don't know if they're going to sign a Rico Dowdle. You feel me? But I would bring him back because I feel like he's waited his time. When he had his time and he had the opportunity, he showed you what he could do a little bit. So I think you should reward him and keep him. I don't think he'll have a high market if we're keeping it real. And Chauncey Golston, definitely bring Chauncey Golston back. I think he'll get offers out there in the streets because people need a tool belt guy. He's like a tool belt guy. Does everything, doesn't do anything great, but does everything for you. So you need those tool belt guys and you need those type of core guys in your program. He's a core guy. He does things the right way. You don't hear anything about him negatively or anything. He comes to work every day. He's a lunch pail guy. Bring him back on a 2-3 year deal. He's affordable enough. Darius Harris, I ain't really paying too much attention. I think they may have gave him a future deal, so I really ain't got no words on Darius Harris. The Amani Orkowali, I think the cornerback number 27, he cool. We need cornerback help, but I say you draft corner. You don't know what's going on with Diggs. You got Kaysen Carlin, whatever his name is. Jordan Lewis, hopefully you bring him back. You need cornerback help, so he ain't going to cost a lot of money, so that's something that you may want to look into going forward. But the one kid who broke his leg, we was really loving him. Or I don't know if he broke his leg or tore his ACL, but if he didn't tear his ACL, that's the guy you need to get right there. I don't really think you should bring him back. Don't bring that Booth back, dude. Cut. He needed never ever put a Dallas Cowboys jersey on in his life. Carl Lawson is like the Dante Fowler for me. So Carl Lawson is like the Dante Fowler. Bring Carl Lawson back. That's John Oney's guy. John Oney fought for you, buddy. He fought to get you in Dallas. He talked about you for 3 years straight and got you in Dallas. John Oney, that's his guy, and everybody knows it. And everything he said was true. Carl Lawson is just hurt guy, but I definitely say you bring him back. that you can never have too many defensive ends. And for the year he had, you get him back on a deal like a Dante Fowler, and you make that cook. Israel Mukamu, I don't know how this dude got in the doghouse. I don't know what he did, but I feel like y'all kept him on the bench so bad that he can't get an offer. Ain't nobody gonna be offering him because they ain't seen him play. So why not bring him back? He's young, he's tall, he's athletic, and whenever he's in the game, he makes plays. I don't get it. I don't know why the hate is for him, Mukamu. But bring that dude back, man. Bring him back. Stop playing around with Mukamu. Y'all, I don't know how he got in the doghouse, but bring him back. You need him. And he's young too, long. You need him. Bring him back. And those are all your unrestricted free agents. Your restricted free agents, Marquise Bell. Love to have Marquise Bell back. I think you have to match tender, so I don't know. Marquise Bell was doing very well. Then he got hurt, and you ain't hear about him. So maybe that helps Dallas because he was a hot name for a little bit. So I don't know if anybody will jump out there because plenty of people know about him now. Undrafted, I'd like to see if you could work something out with Marquise Bell. I'm not the contract guy, the years and all that stuff, but I'm just telling you who you want to bring back. Kevontae Turpin's like me. He ain't no big dude. He a little dude, but got a lot of heart, speed, all that. Kevontae Turpin, he continued to grow as a receiver. You saw what he did, the returns, the explosiveness. You put him in the backfield. I don't care how small he is. Keep on figuring out ways to get him the ball, and he opens up things for you. You feel me? So you got to bring Kevontae Turpin back. Y'all homegrowned him from the USFL. He's your guy. You need to keep him, and nobody else can take him. Now, the exclusive rights free agents, Tyrus Wheat, Wanye Thomas, and Brock Hoffman. As I end this, Tyrus Wheat, nah. But since he's exclusive rights, might as well. Wanye, continue to let Wanye grow. We like Wanye. He lost his way a little bit, but I like Wanye. Bring him back. He got an attitude too. I like his personality. I like Wanye. Bring Wanye back. And as we end it, Brock Hoffman. Brock Hoffman is that guy that you love to hate, right? You love him if you're on your team. You hate him if you ain't. He's an antagonizer. He's a jerk, all that stuff. But that's who you want on your offensive line. That's the type of offensive lineman you want, the ones that's going to start fights, push people around, get in people's faces. I like that, the nastiness, as long as it ain't dirty. I don't think he's a dirty player. He's a nasty player. I like his nastiness. Keep that nastiness there. If he becomes a starter, okay, I think we've seen enough that he could be an okay starter. Won't be no world beater, but he'll be a steady guy for you, and he's always going to bring it. He's always going to work hard, and he's always going to bring his stuff to work. So, about 20 minutes, follow the whole thing. Watch the whole thing. I know. What else you got to do today? Check out Big Game James. All right? My talk on Dallas Cowboys, free agents in 2025, and who I think you should bring back, and who I think you should let go. Big Game James. Talk to you soon. Peace.